My wife, Vanessa, loved birthdays more than anyone I had ever met. Not simple dinners or quiet celebrations. Real events. Music, decorations, expensive venues, themed cocktails, matching outfits, and enough guests to make it feel like a wedding reception every single year. So when her 34th birthday came around, I went all in. I rented a private rooftop downtown, handled catering, booked her favorite live band, and even coordinated surprises with her closest friends. Honestly, I wanted the night to remind her how much I still cared because lately, things between us had quietly changed. Less affection. More distance. Conversations shorter than they used to be. But I kept telling myself marriage has rough seasons, and maybe this party could help us feel connected again. Looking back now, I wish I had paid more attention to the warning signs already quietly standing in front of me. The party started beautifully. Vanessa looked incredible in a dark blue dress that immediately made people stop and compliment her the moment she walked in. She smiled brightly, laughed easily, and for the first hour, things honestly felt good between us again. Friends hugged us, co-workers complimented the venue, and people kept joking about how lucky Vanessa was to have a husband who planned something this elaborate. Every time someone said that, she smiled politely, but strangely, not warmly. Almost distracted. I noticed her checking her phone more often than usual too. At one point, she even disappeared near the entrance for several minutes before returning suddenly energized in a way I couldn't quite explain. Then I saw him. Tyler. Her ex-boyfriend. The one she once described as complicated, whenever old stories surfaced. I hadn't even known he was invited. Honestly, I wasn't even sure who invited him. The moment Vanessa spotted him standing near the bar, something visibly changed in her expression. She lit up instantly. Not politely surprised. Lit up. Brighter laughter. Faster steps. Excitement I hadn't seen directed at me in months. They hugged longer than I felt comfortable watching, laughing immediately like years somehow disappeared in seconds. I stood quietly nearby pretending not to notice how strangely invisible I suddenly felt at my own wife's birthday party. Still, I tried staying reasonable. People reconnect. Nostalgia happens. Maybe I was overthinking everything. After all, this night was supposed to celebrate Vanessa, not feed insecurity. Later that evening, after cake and drinks loosened the room into loud conversations, I walked over while Vanessa stood chatting with friends. Feeling hopeful for the first time all night, I smiled softly and leaned in to kiss her forehead the way I always used to during special moments. But right as I moved closer, Vanessa glanced behind me and suddenly noticed Tyler standing nearby watching the conversation. Then it happened. Vanessa physically pulled back. Quickly. Publicly. Laughing awkwardly, she waved me off lightly and said loud enough for nearby people to hear, "Oh my God, not right now." The group laughed awkwardly. My stomach tightened instantly. Trying to save the moment, I smiled lightly and leaned closer again. Just a quick affectionate kiss between husband and wife. Vanessa stepped backward again, laughing nervously. "Relax," she said loudly. "You're being clingy." Clingy. That word hit harder than she realized. Especially because the second she said it, I noticed Tyler standing just a few feet away smirking slightly like he suddenly understood something private about our marriage. The room shifted quietly after that. Some people laughed nervously, but others looked uncomfortable immediately. One of Vanessa's friends even lowered her drink awkwardly after glancing at me. I stood there frozen for half a second. Not angry exactly. Just embarrassed in a way hard to explain. Because public rejection lands differently when it comes from someone who once promised to protect your heart. Vanessa turned back toward Tyler like nothing happened, smiling brightly again. That was the moment something quietly settled inside me. Not rage. Clarity. Painfully calm clarity. Without raising my voice, I stepped forward calmly and tapped my glass lightly for attention. "Hey everyone," I said evenly. Conversations slowed. Vanessa looked confused immediately. I smiled politely. "First," I said, "thank you all for coming tonight." A few people nodded awkwardly. Then I looked toward Vanessa briefly before continuing. "I planned this party because I love my wife," I said quietly. But I think I misunderstood what tonight actually meant. Silence arrived fast. Real silence. Vanessa's smile started fading instantly. I stayed calm. That somehow made everything heavier. Apparently, I continued softly. Public affection from your husband becomes embarrassing when someone from your past suddenly matters more. Nobody moved. Nobody laughed. Tyler looked deeply uncomfortable now. Vanessa's face turned pale almost immediately. "Stop," she whispered sharply under her breath. But for once, I wasn't angry enough to argue. Just honest enough to stop pretending. "I think I'm gonna leave now," I said quietly. "Enjoy the rest of the party." The room exploded into awkward confusion the moment I turned toward the exit. Vanessa followed immediately. "Ethan, wait!" she shouted behind me. Gone was the confident birthday energy. "You're overreacting," she whispered urgently once we reached the hallway. I looked at her calmly. "Am I?" I asked softly. "Because somehow your husband kissing you embarrassed you more than publicly humiliating him." That sentence completely shut her down. For the first time all night, she looked genuinely shaken. Behind us, guests stood awkwardly whispering while Tyler quietly disappeared toward the elevator. That night blew the entire party apart, not because of screaming or drama, but because honesty finally interrupted humiliation. Vanessa cried later, apologizing, insisting she got caught off guard and acted stupidly. Maybe she meant it. Maybe nostalgia made her careless. But something important changed after that night. Because sometimes betrayal doesn't arrive through cheating. It arrives through moments where someone makes you feel small to impress the wrong audience. And honestly, watching the entire room go speechless, the second truth got spoken out loud told me something important. Everyone had already seen exactly what happened. No one just expected me to finally say it.